all agree that a first impression is important. So you can imagine how important the first impression is with your baby. So today we're going to talk about how to make sure you maximize on that instantaneous bonding that happens between mom and baby. When a baby is first born, it's a very instinctual, primitive little creature. It is completely helpless and it only has really to depend on its own 5 senses. So we want to make sure that we're covering all 5 of those senses when we're introducing ourselves to our baby. If you've seen Twilight, that teeny bopper vampire romance series. Oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah, me neither. What am I talking about? Of course I've seen Twilight. I actually read all of the books as well, but that's beside the point. But if you've seen it or read it, you know about the imprinting that happens wherein Jacob, I think, falls in love with one of the humans and it's just this permanent love. There's no other option and it's forever. And that is kind of what I think happens with a newborn baby when they're first born and they first kind of meet their mom. So here are 3 tips to make sure that that imprinting that happens between mom and baby happens instantaneously and as effectively as possible. Being skin to skin with your baby right away after the baby is born achieves a number of things. It helps baby to regulate heart rate and temperature, and it also helps to reestablish that bioflora that baby got from being born vaginally. But the other thing that it does in both you and baby is it produces a ton of oxytocin, which is, like we've talked about, the labor hormone, but also the love hormone and the cuddling hormone and the bonding hormone. So obviously we want to do things that really ramp up oxytocin production in those first moments of meeting your baby. And skin to skin is the #1 way to do that. The second thing you want to do anytime that you're making a first impression, but especially with your baby, is eye contact. When babies are going through the labor process, and when you're going through the labor process, there's a ton of adrenaline that is pumping through your system because it's a very intense physical event, especially when you're pushing. And so baby has been exposed to that adrenaline, and so when they're born, there's this period of alertness and wide-eyed kind of, they can't see very far yet, but they are very wide-eyed and very alert. So holding them on your chest or in your arms and maximizing on that eye contact between the two of you is an amazing way to kind of say like, hey, I'm your mama. And then the third way to establish a really great bond with your baby as soon as they're born is to actually speak to them. And most women at the end of labor, oh my God, they're tired and they're overwhelmed with all of this oxytocin and all of these emotions and things that are happening. So, you know, often when baby is born, the first thing that mom says is something along the lines of, hello, oh, hi. It doesn't need to be poetic. It doesn't need to be grammatically correct, right? All we want is for baby to hear your voice. Whatever you're saying, whatever comes out. Because you think, right, your voice is what your baby has been hearing from inside for its entire life, its entire gestation. It's one of the only things that it knows. Of course, on the inside, you sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. But it will still help the baby to recognize that it's you, you're its home, you're its mama, and that is what we really want to establish in those really crucial early moments. This period after baby is born is sometimes called the golden hour, where you're just kind of laying skin to skin, you're speaking to your baby, you're making eye contact with your baby, and that is also the time where you will start to try to get baby latched on to establish breastfeeding. And the #1 best way that you can protect this golden hour and really make sure before your baby even comes, make sure that you get the opportunity to experience that golden hour is to give birth naturally. My recommendation to you, as always, is to prepare for your birth, to do the work beforehand, to set yourself up for success. And this time, yes, I'm talking about protecting your birth, but this time I'm really specifically focusing on that hour after birth, where you and baby become imprinted. If you would like more information about how to prepare for your birth, you can head over to brownrootsbaby.com to download your very own Give Birth Naturally guide totally for free. And if you like this information, you can just click like below, you can leave me a comment, you can share it with your pregnant mama friends. I want you to birth boldly and love your labor. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Brown Roots Baby Talk.